Hello, sewing people of the internet. This is going to be kind of a review and an unboxing, for what it's worth, of a pair of shears that I bought at a sewing expo last weekend. I'm just bringing this to you because I had never heard of this brand, and if I saw this at a flea market or something, I would have passed them by. To be honest with you, the packaging looks like something you would find at Harbor Freight or, like I said, a flea market or something. The packaging really suggests something really cheap and inferior, but when I picked these up at the booth that had them displayed, it felt really, really nice, and they cut really, really nice, and I became more interested. So I'm going to tell you what I know, which is not a lot. I'll do some cutting with them and just give you a general overview of what I think, and then just have to subscribe and stick around to see if over the years these become something I use regularly or if it was a bad purchase. I'll tell you right up front, I paid about $60 for these, which was a show special price. I think they list online for around $80 something. So they're not inexpensive at all. My Whist W20s, I haven't looked in a long time, but I think I paid around $40 for those on Amazon. So these are definitely premium priced shears. Let's see if the performance lives up to that price. So the name of these shears, the brand name is French European, which again screams to me an inexpensive Chinese brand or something. Apparently that's not the case, but that was my first impression. Joe Vecchiarelli is, I guess, a designer who's done some Disney productions and was on like a reality show. He's like a judge on a reality show or something. I know nothing about the guy, never heard of him. I read very little on the internet about him. If you're a big Joe Vecchiarelli fan and I'm being dismissive, I apologize. I'm not a clothing designer or in any way related to that whole oeuvre. But apparently he's behind this company, and he also makes dress forms or something. So that's what we're dealing with. If anyone from this company happens to watch this, man, you guys really need to do something about this packaging, because it really looks cheap and terrible. Like, I'm not trying to make too big a deal of it, but like seriously, I would just walk right past this if I saw it just in the package like this. This screams cheap. So on the side here, it has 10-inch. These are the 10-inch shears. They also had 8 and 9-inch shears at the show. I think those are the only sizes they have. Let's see, nothing on the other ends, and a little bit of info on the back. Nothing really important to note on the back. It just says it has rubber coated handles, which were really comfortable when I picked them up. That was the first thing that I noticed. And they're high carbon steel blades. So let's ironically use another pair of shears to open this package. One thing I want to mention before I continue with the fabulous unboxing here, nowhere on the packaging and nowhere that I've seen on the shears that I looked at the show does it mention where these are manufactured. I asked the gentleman at the booth, assuming that they're made in China, and again, I've talked about this before, there are things made in China that are absolute garbage, and there are things made in China that are fabulously high quality. So whether or not this is made in China or anywhere else isn't necessarily instructive, but looking at the packaging, I'm assuming this is made in China. The gentleman at the booth said that they're made in Paris. I would assume, again, I have a bit of a U.S. bias here. If these were made in the USA, there'd be an American flag on this thing, made in the USA, emblazoned on it, probably an eagle. Like, you would know that these were made in the USA. I'm a little surprised that it doesn't say made in France or something. You would think that might lend more credence to it being a premium product. But that's what I was told. If you can find anywhere on the internet where these are made, please post a comment below. I haven't been able to find it. So anyway. Nothing else in the box. Okay, so these are the shears. Now, I've talked quite a bit about how bad the packaging looks. The shears are really nice. The rubber-coated handles, I'm very curious to see how long this rubber coating lasts. If it peels off in a few months, I'll definitely have a much lower opinion of these, but they really are quite comfortable. I was really, really pleasantly surprised by these. There's a lot of oil. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. There's a lot of oil on the blade because it is a carbon steel blade, so there's oil on it to prevent it from rusting, so they recommend wiping that off before cutting your fine fabrics with it. Maybe I will. When I picked these up at the show, at the booth that they were displayed at, I was immediately struck by how smoothly they worked on the hinge. I'm not sure that I think these being brand new maybe haven't worn in enough because they don't feel quite as smooth as I remember the ones at the show that have had this done who knows how many thousands of repetitions. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I'd picked up a brand new pair, I might not have been as immediately impressed. These feel fine. They just, you know, they're brand new. So let me wipe the oil off and we'll cut some fabric and see how it does. And again, before I start cutting, I just want to point out the only markings on these is the 10-inch here, which again, like this graphic just seems cheap to me. Like, I don't know why you need to know that this is a 10-inch one. It's pretty obvious what size it is if you have the other two next to it. And I don't know, it just seemed pretty plain. And then the French European name and logo. And again, nowhere on here is it stamped made in anywhere. So it's very odd because they really do feel high quality, and you'll see when we cut with these, if they cut like the ones at the show, they cut really, really well. But then they just look like they're not good, but they seem to be. I'm perplexed. Okay, so how do you show in a video how well something cuts? I mean, it's really hard for me to come up with a demo. This is some 1680 denier ballistic nylon with some mil-spec 4088 binding on it. I'm just going to cut the fabric. Yeah. So these things are super, super sharp. I was saying how maybe they don't feel as smooth to me as the demo ones did at the booth. These are really, really sharp scissors. I hope they stay this sharp for a long time. I don't have a way to enumerate, like, you know, this cuts 8% better than brand X shears, or I don't know. These are really, really sharp. That's all I can tell you. I'm like really pleased with how sharp they are. So it'll be interesting to see if they stay sharp. I'm not going to cut a pencil with these. If you haven't been around here for a while, I cut a pencil in a video once and you would have thought I murdered a puppy. I'm not going to do that with these because these are really, really sharp and I'd like for them to stay that way. That's a pretty noticeable difference. I wish you could feel it, but these are really sharp. Did I say that already? The gentleman who was demoing these talked about cutting paper with them. For some reason, among sewing people, cutting paper with your fabric cutting scissors is a big no-no. I do it all the time, and the guy who was displaying these said that, yeah, he cuts paper with them all the time and they stay super sharp. I don't know, your mileage may vary. If you are concerned about it, don't cut paper, but I probably will. So yeah, I mean, I realize that there's only so much you can glean from seeing a video of me cutting a piece of fabric and gushing about it, but man, they're really, really sharp. So I don't know if there are any retailers who sell these in brick and mortar shops. I've seen them online a couple of places. Generally, the prices were pretty consistent where I saw them. But I literally just learned of these last week, never heard of them, have not researched this at all. So, you know, you may spend a little bit of time and find more information that might inform you as to whether or not this is something you want to buy or if you can find it for less or whatever. If you go to a sewing expo, as I did, might be something to keep your eyes out for. Quick side note, the sewing expo I went to was in Lakeland, Florida. They have shows around the country. I don't remember the name of it. But it was largely quilting oriented, so not really a lot of stuff up my alley. I did buy some cork fabric I want to play with. It was fun to go check out some different aspects of sewing from what I normally do. But anyway, that's where I saw these. If you are affiliated with this company, your packaging is terrible. Like like this is awful. I really don't understand this because these really seem like they're really, really good. If they are as good as they are out of the box for any reasonable period of time, your packaging doesn't reflect it. Your packaging says this is a cheap piece of junk, walk right past it. But if you do see these somewhere, I would say at least give them a second look, or if you have the opportunity to demo some, do, because you might be surprised. They feel really good. But if you're in the market for a pair of very comfortable, very, very sharp shears, and you don't mind spending a lot of money, relatively speaking, these are worth a look. I will update this video if I find out something more about them that makes my assessment of the value proposition different. But yeah, I would definitely give them a look. The name and the packaging is deceiving because they seem really, really nice. So if you want to see these get used in some projects, then make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, clicking like is always a nice thing to do. If you have questions or comments, post them in the comments section below. I have a second channel where I do a lot of fishing mostly, and some other stuff that you might want to check out. There will be a video at the end of this one that you can watch if you want to see what that's all about. You can also follow me on Instagram, and there's affiliate links to buy stuff if you want to make me rich. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Pretty sure this is my biggest peacock ever. And I'll tell you the story how I caught him in a second. Bye, buddy.